Welcome back to the vlog. My name is Londell Streete. I'm a freelance photographer and videographer living here in Guyana, South America. And this is part 2 of our trip into the hinterlands of Guyana. Hopefully you saw the last vlog. If not, you could definitely check it out here, and that way you could get up to speed with everything that's been happening so far. In this vlog, we are finally heading into the tongue of Lethem. We're also checking out the first 2 nights of the rodeo, and we're going to Vista, Brazil. So strap in, because this vlog is definitely going to be longer than the previous vlog, so you might want to get something to eat, something to drink, or probably even get both. Good stuff. What's this? Is this tripe? Okay, perfect. Alright folks, so the unfortunate part about this right now is I don't know the name of this establishment, but I got Tara's spicy corn. I was just informed by my wife that it's right over my right shoulder. Anyways, we got a tripe and chicken cook up, bussin'. I know I'm gonna want to sleep after this, but we got a ton of activities to go back to. I'll let me take a bite of this food and see what we got. Who want curry? Who want curry? Let's go to Trinidad. It's good and hot, but very good. This is the best way for you to cook up hot. You gotta blow on it. I don't know if I'm the only person like this, but when it comes to like eating your food, I know Guyanese like cook every part of the chicken. They cook with bone and all of that. I don't like bone. Unless it's like thigh or like drumstick, I'll take it. But save the bones. So when it comes to rodeo, the events usually start later in the day. So most people just go at night. Obviously it's cooler, you get to check everything out, the food, the rides and stuff of that sort. 2 of the things that immediately caught our attention when we got into the rodeo was these huge statues of Hulk and one of Jack Sparrow. And yes, we did ask each other, what do these 2 characters have to do with the rodeo? And we kind of came up with this like funny idea. We were like, okay, we could say that Jack Sparrow is a cowboy of the sea, but we couldn't really find anything for Hulk. Sorry, Hulk. With this being a rodeo, you know they had tons and tons of hats for sale. They had hats in all sorts of colors, designs, materials, so of course I had to go ahead and get myself one. They also had like belts, shoes, wallets, and sheets for knives. Now that we looked the part for the rodeo, it was time to indulge in the cuisines. And one of the first meals we had was this like hot dog, and they put cabbage in the hot dog, and I have to say, like, I've never had a hot dog with cabbage. It was kind of strange, but I will say that it wasn't bad. It helped to add this little bit of like texture that sometimes could be missing in foods, because hot dogs are usually like, you know, the bread is soft, the sausage is like medium, you know, but the cabbage, it added a nice little crunch and punch of flavor. I also got this like beef on a stick, and I have to say that I don't know the difference between a kebab and a skewer, so I'll just be saying I got beef on a stick, as simple as it is. Every time I've been to the rodeo, they always do like the meat on a stick. Like I said, I don't know if it's a kebab or a skewer, I don't know the difference. But one of the other things that they also had whilst we were there was this like guarana. I'm not gonna even try and pronounce this drink, but we had this drink when we went to the what was it, like the Brazil day at the Brazilian embassy, and this drink was so good. It was $400, surprisingly. I think soda is normally be like $200. I don't know, but it's like this soda, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's not like Coke or like Pepsi or any of the other like drinks that you have. It's just this very unique flavor. The one thing that kind of riled me up a little bit though is the first night, which is the night you're seeing right here, we got the drink for about $400, and then the second night they were like, oh, it's $500. And I told the lady about it. I was like, yo, it was $400 last night, how is it $500 tonight? But then I paid the $500 to collect the drink because it's so good, and we just went about our night. It's good.
They didn't get the right consistency.
What do you mean didn't get the right consistency?
It's supposed to be soft, crackable sugar.
After we got that first meal, my wife ended up spotting a vendor that was selling churros, and you should have heard how this woman's voice just like light up. This woman's voice just light up when she saw the churros. So we headed over there, tried some churros. It was really nice, really sweet, really like the best way I would describe it is like imagine a cheese straw if you're Guyanese, but it's not cheesy. It's just sweet, crunchy, and then they put like caramel on top. So the best way to describe the flavor would be like very cinnamony, very caramelish, if that's a word. Caramelish is that a word? I don't know, we could find out. Now some people might say that we mad for this, but after eating all of the stuff, we kind of went on to the rides. And the funny part about it is, like I said, this is the first night, so the rides had no lines. You'd go up to the rides and you just like grab your ticket, go there and hand it to the guy, and then you'd basically have to wait for the ride to fill up enough for it to go. So we did two rides. We did the Ferris wheel and we did this ride called Casino. I think I said it was like poker or something like that, but it's actually called Casino. What even is this ride? The what?
The poker.
This ride is called the poker. So we heading on the poker now, folks. Not to the Poconos, but to the poker. And the rides were fun. I really enjoyed them, even as an adult, which is funny because the last time I've been on any of these, I was like a teenager, and that was like forever ago. Now let's talk about the main event for night one. The main event is the pageant, and when it comes to the pageant, you can expect most of the things that you find in a traditional pageant, except that both men and women are in the pageant. I mean, it's separate categories, but they do them at the same time, at the same night. Everything is like rodeo themed as well, so that's something to consider, that it's not traditional in that way. It's a rodeo themed pageant. So you find the people in the pageant wearing cowboy and cowgirl attire, you know, boots, hats, denim, and all that other stuff. And they all kind of like represent different portions of the Rupununi. Some of them might represent like a ranch, and some of them might represent like a local area. There's different portions of the pageant. There's one portion where they ask them to show off their bullwhip skills, and from what I gathered, it looks like, hey, how consistently can you crack the whip? There's another portion where they ask them, hey, what would you do if you won the competition? Because I believe when you win the competition, you take on a project and you have to have that project already put together. So like, okay, hey, you win the competition and then you execute the project. And the project is usually to help the people in the area, right? Help the ranchers, help the local populace, the demographic of people that are there. There's also a part where they do like a little intro where they come up, they talk about themselves, where they're from.
Tonight, I'm taking this opportunity to encourage my fellow youths. Do not be afraid to step out your comfort zone. The risk that you're afraid to take might be the one that changes your life.
And I think my favorite portion would have to be when they come up in the attire. So they'll come up in an outfit and they'll have somebody describe all the things that they're wearing and talk about it and the purpose of it. And it's really nice.
Tonight I'll hand up the crown. So this is my last, not my last, maybe I'll come back for it next year. And when I come back, I'm gonna put on some more action for y'all. So thank you very much.
Alright folks, good morning. Your boy about to head out to Brazil. We over here getting breakfast at the same place that we was at getting lunch yesterday. It was lunch that we get here yesterday. We were supposed to be getting routine curry, but the staff said that the curry running late. So I guess the curry didn't want to show up to work today. So it is what it is. From here we're gonna be linking up with our tour guides. We were told that they're bilingual, so they're taking us over to Brazil. We're going to Vista. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive in there. We were told that we're gonna probably don't need to get our passport stamped and all this other stuff.
It's just really nice to run into people and to get to see their Steamy and Sweaty and back there. And she's there watching me.
This is the most interesting part about Lethem, in my opinion. Like just the loom and how everything just has red loom on it. Like you could see though, look at the ground. You see all this red loom right here? You see my wife's shoes right here? All are gonna be red when she come back. Look at the bottom, boom, boom. Ah, look at me red. Look at this guy vehicle that coming on the road right here. This is white, but you can see the color it when it pull up just now. Well, not that one, but this one right here. Boom, super red. So getting into the Brazil portion of the vlog, we got some food and we were bussed to the border of Brazil and Guyana. While we were at the border, we found out something very interesting. During the rodeo period, there's kind of like an agreement between Brazil and Guyana, and they basically allow people to just traverse the border, like back and forth. That's what we were told. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if there's any like more information to come with that, but that's what we were told, and we saw people just going back and forth, you know, and they were there, like enjoying themselves, doing their thing. Getting into Brazil felt very similar to the trail, except for the bumpy parts, right? Because going into Brazil, the road was like smooth, felt great. They did a great job with their road. Maybe they could come build some roads for us here in Guyana. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe they could, right? The environment looked pretty much the same. It was very like orange, dusty, that like inner savanna look, like it had that. And then when we got about, I'd say maybe like 40 minutes into Brazil, the terrain started taking on a different look, right? It still looked ranchy, but it was a lot more green and like luscious. Once we got to Vista, I wouldn't say it's anything special, but when compared to Guyana, you could see that they definitely put a lot more thought and a lot more structure into how they put things together there in Vista. As we kind of went around that area, we saw the usual stuff. We saw like food stores, clothing stores, people selling little bags, electronics. Very much border market vibes, but a lot more put together, and it's in Brazil, so people look a lot different. But that's not to take away anything from Brazil. Obviously, I know we're on the outskirts of the country, very close to the border of Guyana, so it's nothing fancy. From the market, we ended up going to a mall, and the funniest thing about going to the mall is that we saw just as many Guyanese people as we did Brazilian people, or maybe I'm just exaggerating, but we saw a ton of Guyanese people because, like I said, the border is open, so all the people who are coming in for the rodeo, of course, they just drove across the border, came to Brazil, and they're now checking out the area as well, just like everybody else. Come in, shop, try foods, check it out, see what Brazil has to offer. The group kind of like set up some rules, so we had like a 2-hour window. So while we were there, we got food and checked out the mall, but I have to say I definitely regret getting the food that I got. It was so bad. And I'm not saying this is a stop to Brazil. It was just like the place I went to get food wasn't great. Or actually, let me not say that. Let me not say it wasn't great. It's just that what I ordered, I didn't like, right? I ordered like some pasta with like beef over it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't anything. I wouldn't spend my money on that again. After getting food, we kind of like browsed the mall and we came across this like street style clothing store. It was called King's. They were selling, you know, the usual stuff you expect from a street style store. Sneakers, graphic tees, hats, shoe cleaners. The store was actually a real vibe. It kind of reminded me of my time living in New York, and I worked next to this store called Kith, and they kind of had that vibe. That store now is super bougie. Like, there's a line to get in the store, but I'd say maybe like 6 years ago you could just walk into the store, browse, and it had this like elevated service style, but they sold a lot of like streetwear. So the King store kind of reminded me of Kith in their early days. It was really nice, really well put together. The lady there who was selling, she was really nice, really helped us out. Went, grabbed sizes for me. A very nice one-on-one experience. And I did end up getting like a Street Fighter t-shirt. And it's funny because it's still in the packaging, but it's basically this. I don't even know if y'all could see it. I think it's like Chun-Li. Bison, Chun-Li, Ken, and Ryu on the front. That's the name of the place, if y'all ever want to check it out, or if you're ever in Brazil. I also got this keyring, and the only reason I got this keyring is because the lady was like, oh, I don't have any change, will you accept the keyring, as you know. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. This stuff is still in the bag. Now, night 2 of the rodeo is where you can really expect to be entertained, and you can really expect the crowd to show out. There's tons and tons and tons of people that just show up. Like, it gets to the point where I remember the night before we could just walk into the stands. Now you're like, excuse me, pardon me, could I get a pass please? It just turns into a full swing, full party. There was a lot of entertainment before we got into the actual bull riding. There was like a couple local dance groups there. They danced. We had I think a performance from like Adrian Dutchin, and then they end up getting into the bull riding. And I have to tell you, when you get into the bull riding, you find out that 8 seconds really is a long time. I really do admire all of the bull riders. There were men and women out there doing their thing. I really admire the people who are helping them to stay safe. Like, they really took the safety seriously. Like, sometimes here in Guyana it feels like people aren't always the safest, but with that bull riding competition, they really had all their safety precautions ready to go. I had to look this up, but the other 3 people, the 2 riders and the person running around on foot in the arena with the bull rider and the bull, they have jobs. And I mean, yes, you could see them doing their jobs, but the 2 guys on the horse, they're called pickup men. And I think the person that's like running around on foot is called a rodeo clown, even though this person isn't necessarily dressed as a clown. But the entire job of the pickup men is to maintain the safety of the bull rider, right? And to help distract the bull as well, like guide the bull back into the pen after everything is done. Then you have the rodeo clown, who is also there to help protect the bull rider. And they would just kind of like, hey, distract the bull, or sometimes I think I saw them jump on one of the riders once to just like help cover the person. So they're out there risking their lives. So big shout out to them, hats off to them. They're doing a great job. They really took the safety seriously. Now I'm wrapping up the vlog, so please comment rodeo if you stayed up until this point. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, especially since this is part 2 of the trip. And part 3, we'll be checking out the Kumu Falls. That place was perfect. We got some drone shots coming up for that. That's gonna be clean. That was a real good adventure. Like I said in the video earlier, if you haven't seen part 1 of this video, feel free to check it out here. And if you were at the rodeo, definitely let me know. If you've never been to the rodeo but you plan on going, definitely let me know in the comments. Y'all stay safe, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Peace.